Hurts, when he came in last year, it was, this guy's a tremendous leader. Universally, everybody said that. Well, now you have a bunch of guys saying, man, this guy Minshew is a character. We really like. Yeah. So is there a divide of some people like this character Minshew? People really like, Hurts is a pretty serious, stoic guy, man.
He is, yeah.
But it sounded like the one thing, hey, maybe he doesn't have a great arm. Maybe he's not the most accurate guy. But, man, he is a leader.
Welcome back in. Final half hour of the
Mikey.
Show. Thanks to Jason Martinez for jumping on, but we're going to finish the show with a flurry here. Okay, we're going out with one of our favorite guys, and I don't know if we've ever had him on the show because, he obviously is Mr. Atlantic City.
Right,
and
right.
There was at a time there was a competitive signal down there, so we couldn't get him on, but now we can get him on. And he is the man at 97.3 ESPN, and he happened to write something that caught my attention. You can get it at 973ESPN.com. It's about Minshew, and it says, Minshew Mania is a lot like the holiday season. Now, you put a headline like that up, you are going to get my attention. And I went through and read the whole thing, and it was absolutely brilliant. So I thought we'd bring Mr. Gill on here to talk about it.
You call me brilliant, Harry.
Yeah.
That's a step up in this world for me.
Absolutely. It was brilliant. Hey, I call it like I see it. It was great, man. You went through there, and I thought your comparison was spot on. In fact, we talked about it in the first hour of the show, where you compared sort of Minshew with Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. And I think you're exactly right about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way I kind of break it down is, Jalen Hurts he was like the most popular guy in the city. Remember, his jersey sales were out the roof. People were going nuts for this guy. He threw 3 touchdowns, and the narrative the next day was, well, it was only the Falcons.
It's only I said that.
Right? Well, so Minshew comes in and he puts up this huge game, and nobody's saying, well, it was only the Jets. It's because,
I did.
Well, you're a smart man.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Well,
but I think
most people would. And like I said, it's like the holiday season. It's Halloween. You put a costume on for the day. Then the other 4 weeks that you got to get ready for Thanksgiving, nobody talks about those. And then Thanksgiving comes. If you eat turkey every single night, you're going to get tired of it. Well, the 2 holidays are the Minshew Manias. The games he has in between that no one talks about, in the society that we live in, people,
right.
You have highlights. And now you don't even get the highlight show. It's on Twitter. And you'll have somebody going, Minshew Mania, Minshew Mania. He happens to have an alliteration type of name, so we only remember that. But you don't remember all the stuff he does in between the Minshew Mania events.
Yeah,
right?
the losses,
right.
The lack of wins. We're talking about a team that didn't win 4 games the past 3 years he was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And now, he comes in and has 1 game, and boom, he's the next best thing in Philly. You can't think like that, man. And I keep trying to tell people it not even to be on Hurts's bandwagon, but it's literally about the offensive line and who's playing offensive line as opposed to who's playing quarterback for this team right now.
Now, I was one of the few, and I said at the beginning of the year, this team could make the playoffs. I said they could make the playoffs, and my caveat was, if their offensive line stayed together. Barrett, you played offensive line. I would imagine that if you guys could play all 17 games together for all season long, you feel like you have a good thing going. This team think about this. This team could have 4 Pro Bowl offensive linemen this year. I mean, realistically, Johnson could possibly make it. Kelsey's going to make it. Right. Dickerson could make it. Mailata could make it. 4 guys. They have, if that offensive line plays together, I said they could probably make the playoffs because when you have a good offensive line, you can be competitive. You can keep games close, be competitive, slow games down. They did it the other day. They ran the ball. Basically, they took the ball away from the Jets for the entire third quarter.
Yeah. They had 3 plays, I think the Jets did in that quarter.
And basically, this team is predicated on running the football. So, yeah, Minshew had a great game, but everything did you see it? They had 14 catches from the tight end or the running back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had 14 catches from the tight end and running back all season. They had it in 1 week last week.
They game planned it, man. I was just saying it. They game planned that. They wanted to execute an offense where they wanted to get their best players, their most explosive players, the ball. And you look at it, that's what Goddard and Sanders are.
I will say Minshew, when he was in Jacksonville, I think Fournette, who had like 77 catches one year when he was down there. But, all I hear about Hurts is he doesn't have a great arm. He can't air it out. He doesn't throw the ball down the field. The throw that Minshew made to Goddard, he had to stop at the 10-yard line to wait for it to get to him. The Jets were so bad that nobody was near him. He could stop, catch the ball, turn, and still score before any Jet came close to him. So, look, I like Minshew, but if he didn't have a Fu Manchu, a bomber jacket, and a mullet, we probably are like, this guy's just an average guy.
Right.
But he's just such a likable character that we're ready to turn the keys over. Look, there's a reason he was drafted in the 6th round. There's a reason he went to 3 colleges. And there's a reason he got traded for a conditional 6th-round pick. He's a fun, quirky guy. But are you telling me that this guy is the difference maker between the Eagles being what they are and going to the Super Bowl?
No.
Doubtful.
No. The problem is, and as somebody put it very eloquently on the stream, Big Chris says the problem is we have 2 backup quarterbacks and not a franchise quarterback.
He might be right. He might be. We don't know what Hurts is, but, I think Hurts, I thought he took a huge step in the Denver game and then a huge step back in the Giant game, obviously. Now, look, you're not going to play your best game week in and week out. It just doesn't happen. But I really thought we were seeing Hurts kind of take a step forward. So it was so disappointing to see him take a step back. And then, it just coupled with his worst game comes and this guy Minshew comes in. It's just a perfect storm of people asking questions. But, Hurts has 4 games of over 100 quarterback rating and 1 game with 95. For whatever numbers those mean, somebody thinks he's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know how they determine those numbers, but they are what they are.
I don't know how you determine them either.
And that said, the bad game that he had and Hurts was awful against the Giants. If Rager makes 1 catch, where it's an ugly win.
You know what, though, guys? I think that's something, and I brought that up on my show, is I thought he played his worst game that I've ever seen him play. But it's like the NBA player who's 3 for 18, but he hits the dagger in the corner as the game is on the line. He stepped up, had his worst game, and said, I'm going to shoot my shot, and he threw 2 passes right to the guy's hands.
Right.
It's disturbing, man, and
it's like Danny Green.
And I go through it all the time, even with our fans, because I'm a fan. And I go through it all the time that, all right, the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. You have a player that could virtually go out there and win you games in the 4th quarter, but he can also throw you out of games in the 2nd quarter. But he can still have enough to win the game in the 4th quarter because he's that dynamic of a player, period. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's going to get the crucial first down. He can run for a first down. He can even throw for a first down. But it's all about him being more of a – if you want to be more of a pack passer, this is not your guy. If you want him to be a quarterback that can win games, he is your guy.
Well, the interesting question here is, Hurts, when he came in last year, it was, this guy's a tremendous leader. Universally, everybody said that. Well, now you have a bunch of guys saying, man, this guy Minshew is a character. We really like. Yeah. So is there a divide of some people like this character Minshew? People really like, Hurts is a pretty serious, stoic guy, man. He is. Yeah. But it sounded like the one thing, hey, maybe he doesn't have a great arm. Maybe he's not the most accurate guy. But, man, he is a leader. Well, do you have a faction that wants him to be the leader? Do you have a faction that wants the character in Minshew? That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I just want a guy that's accurate. That's all. I don't care if his personality's stoic or if
character doesn't win games, though.
Yeah.
Well, Barrett, guys pick sides. I don't know. Maybe the center and the left side of the line like Hurts because they run the ball more. Or maybe the right side of the line likes Minshew more because he's a little bit more accurate of a throw. Who knows? They both have personalities that are likable, though. That's the big thing here. So, like you said, Harry, they might just have 2 backup quarterbacks.
Right.
It's frustrating, man. But it's really frustrating.
I don't really see anybody in this draft that makes me want to expend a first-round pick on.
I agree with that. If you have 3 picks, and I'm a West Virginia guy, so I can't take.
You can't take Pickett.
No, he's out already for me. Yep, he's out of the mix. So no, if I'm the Eagles, I am keeping my 3 picks. And look, I go with Hurts, and I have Minshew still signed for another year. I go with these two guys again. Right. Cheap backup, and just keep adding more talent. This team is already – look, Justin Herbert, I think everybody listening would take Justin Herbert, right? He's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
They're 7-5. They can't get out of their own way. So, like, getting this mythical quarterback that just doesn't exist, it's not the be-all, end-all sometimes. Just get a lot of talent, put it together, get a good game plan. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, all right? Just put the talent together. You have guys. You can find somebody that can make a deal. Somebody wants to get out. There's a guy you find.
Right. There's some stat, Xander put up a tweet earlier in the show, Barrett and I were blown away by it, that the Eagles as a franchise are like 40-18 with the backup quarterback.
40-18 when the backup quarterback plays. I did see that. And it just goes to show how much they value that position. It's when they drafted Jalen Hurts, people question. I said, they value the backup quarterback more than they do their starting safety.
Yeah.
Right?
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And it's something that's, always been something that they do. They always value the backup quarterback. Even when I was playing, the backup quarterback.
You look at a team like Dallas, if Dak Prescott goes down, their season's in the toilet, right?
Yes.
They're done.
Yes.
So the Eagles, as much as Howie Roseman takes hit, they've quietly rebuilt this roster with some young players that can play. I mean, and they still, good teams value the backup quarterback. The move to get Minshew was the mark of a well-run team, like it or not.
Right. Absolutely. And they understand that. Just like they value offensive linemen, even as high as first and second round. They're going to draft offensive linemen. This year, I can't see them using all 3 picks this year. I think they're going to trade this pick to acquire another first-round pick for next year's draft.
We talked about that yesterday, Barrett. Is they have 3 picks this year. They've all kind of fallen after 10. Does Roseman try to trade them to picks for next year's draft and add more picks in next year's draft?
Maybe get Bryce Young, baby.
So then you get another year to look at you get another year to look at your 2 quarterbacks that you have here. You have more draft capital for next season. But look, if they get 2 – look what Dallas did with just Parsons. Just getting him, that changed the complexion of that team.
Diggs and Parsons.
And Diggs the year before, and now Parsons.
Yep.
You got to, man.
Would the NBA version of Minshew Mania be Linsanity?
Somebody texted that to my show the other day. Minshew Mania is Linsanity. But Minshew Mania, like, he has had some, like, he's got 39 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is he a product of a bad Jacksonville team? I mean, is this guy, he was drafted in the 6th round. I don't know. Maybe he's Tom Brady.
Well, Alabama wanted him. You know that, right? You know that.
Well, he's from Mississippi. He went to Mississippi Community College.
Yeah, like a JUCO.
And then he ended up at East Carolina.
I did a game against Temple that he quarterbacked in.
Well, he was splitting time with a kid from Duke. They were splitting some time there. And then he got off on he threw for like 300 plus yards for like the last 4 games. He then was a grad student.
Right.
He brushing your beard over there?
Yeah, he does this all the time. He does this all the time.
Solid.
Yeah.
And then he transfers out. Basically, Leach says, "You're the perfect guy. I got an offense for you. Come on out here." So he's a grad student. He goes out to Washington State. And nobody even heard of this guy until he went to Washington.
Right. That was apparently when Alabama offered him as a grad student to come in for 1 year, and he ended up going with Leach out in Washington State.
Right, and then he basically broke all their records out there. But even with that, I mean, he becomes a 6th-round pick. He goes to Jacksonville, and look, he stepped right in there right away. And from week 1, it was Minshew Mania. He had a big first game of his career, and then he kind of came back to earth. And then, like, week 5, I looked at this yesterday. I don't know this off the top of my head. But
you do now.
Week 1, he had a big game.
Right.
Well, then he had like 3-4 okay games. And then week 5, Minshew Mania was back. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like the holiday season. Every 4 weeks, he has this game where you're like, Minshew Mania. But we're in a society where, like, I went on vacation to North Carolina. I was in the Outer Banks in August. And
he gets a lot of vacation, Barrett, this guy.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Well, it feels like it was 2 weeks ago. Well, here it's 3.5 months ago. That's what I'm talking about, this Minshew Mania. Like, you feel like it happens every week, but it's really like every 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
Harry, I was at the East Carolina Navy game a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
and I'm going to the Military Bowl because my girlfriend went to East Carolina.
Oh, they play Boston College in that game, right?
Yeah.
Well, you love that stadium. I've done games down there at Navy. That's a great spot.
Yes.
Yeah,
I went there. I was there 3 weeks ago, I guess. And then, so East Carolina played Navy. We went to the game, and now East Carolina's in the Military Bowl. So we're going back just to tailgate and stuff.
Right. Nice.
Well, I did an East Carolina game in that stadium. That's a nice stadium. And I also did a game in that
yeah, I've done there stadium. Too.
And it's a nice stadium also.
Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium.
So how do you get all this vacation time and all that stuff? Because me and Harry, we never get a vacation.
We work every day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the boss.
Day. Oh, okay. Well, there it is.
That's true.
Yeah. And I've worked here for so long that you accumulate, like, for every year you're here, you get like another week's vacation, and then they cap you off. So I'm like at the max of I think I have
10 weeks.
No, I think the max is 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I have 6.
I had 6 weeks at the old place. I parlayed that into 6 weeks before I left.
Yeah, well,
it's good work.
Because they don't want to pay any more money, you just keep getting more.
Right. That's exactly what I said.
Hey, can I have a raise? We can't do that. Well, can I take more days off? Sure, go ahead. Right? That's what happened.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this, man. You still stay in the same place, man?
No, I don't live. Me and my girlfriend, we own a place together.
Oh, congrats, man! Because I was telling everybody about when I went to your house, and you're like, "You been to Gill's house?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been to his house, man." So he lived in a penthouse. You know how we had to catch the elevator upstairs.
Yeah.
The view overlooking the ocean, man. I was like, big time, man, playboy, man, big time guy.
I lived on the 18th floor of the 5,000 Boardwalk building in Ventnor. Wow. So my view of the entire island of Atlantic City. And Barrett came to my house, and the guy at the front desk, I mean, he was like, "Oh, are you bringing Barrett back over?" Like, he would ask me every single day, as if Barrett was like coming over every single day. He came to my birthday party. That's what happened.
Wow.
They were surprised that I knew where you lived. I'm like, "Yeah, man. He had a nice crib and everything, man."
Yeah. No, I live in an actual house now. I got a house.
Now, when are you going to make this official?
That's a good question, man.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I'm on vacation so much, we're just living life.
Right.
I'm going to Croatia.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
For what?
To do what?
I'm going to Croatia in July. Just vacationing, man.
Really?
Yeah, we have a house in Florida. We went down there, but the person who lives next door to us, their place flooded our place out. So now the insurance is getting involved. They got to fix it. So we typically go to the Florida house this time of the year.
Right.
But since we're not doing that this year, we're looking for. We're like, you know what? So I coach baseball. My team won the World Series.
Whoa. I remember that. I congratulated you for that on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Harry.
Yeah.
Barrett didn't.
I didn't know.
We won the World Series, so I was out a lot this summer. I was in Jamestown, New York, home of Nick Sirianni.
Oh, that's right.
He's
is there a statue for him up there?
It's funny. I was at this establishment. I went to college. I did college radio with a guy who happens to live in Jamestown. Okay. I haven't talked to him in 20 years. I reach out to him on Facebook. We meet up at this bar, and he says, Nick Sirianni is from Jamestown. I said, you don't say, right? So he's telling me the whole story of this guy about he's a high school this and that and that. So I was up there. I was out a lot. So next year I'm not coaching. I'm going to Croatia.
Wow.
Bro. So I just look up Croatia. Croatia is nice, man.
Oh yeah. It is a private cruise. There's only 15 people on the boat.
Wow. How did you get that?
Who
do you know?
Wow.
I'm a very private individual.
Jeez.
I live on the 18th floor penthouse. How do you think I got that boat ride?
Wow. That's some good stuff. All right, real quick, where are you with this Ben Simmons thing? Are you about as fed up with it as we are, and would wish that Morey, after the 15th of December, makes a deal?
Well, I'm not a Ben Simmons hater. I'm sorry. So I'm on the Ben Simmons. Look, he's frustrating as all hell. But the way I see it is you can't just trade Ben Simmons for 3 jamokes. I mean,
no.
What are you going to do? Like, you're going to get 3 guys who are Shake Milton, Danny Green. I mean, they tried that before. They traded Charles Barkley for 3 jackasses. I mean, that was terrible. So I know people just say you just got to get anything. Getting anything, all it does is make the rotations harder you can't get 3 guys who are similar to the guys you already have. So unfortunately, they're in a spot. I understand they need talent. They got to get something, but they might just have to let him rot and sit there for the year.
Oh, wow. Oh, and waste a year of Joel Embiid.
Well, I can tell you this. From what I've been told, they are not interested in, all the stuff that's been out there. They have no interest in Jeremy Grants of the world.
No, neither do I.
Right. They have no interest in CJ McCollum. Look, I know people are frustrated with Ben. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't do this. He was historically bad for whatever reason in those playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sixers are banking that he could be back to a 65, 70% free throw shooter. They would have swept the Hawks if he just shot his percentage of the regular season. Now, that whole thing with his sister and that thing, that was all kind of happening right around this time. That was a shady story. You know
What?
that?
No, what?
The whole thing with his brother, his sister, his real sister.
Yeah.
You guys didn't hear the story?
No. What is this?
His real sister and his shooting coach brother, who I think is his half-brother, the sister had claimed that the brother had molested her.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So that was all going on during the playoff time, and he just didn't want to talk about it. I got to imagine he's got to choose between his real sister, who he's very close with, and his brother, who is his shooting coach. He's got to be
the shooting coach isn't doing a good job, so I would choose the sister.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not debating that. But he's got to make a decision on who am I supporting in this whole mess. Yeah. Now, she sued. It went to court in Australia, and she never showed. So he ended up winning the case.
Oh, boy.
So this all happened while the playoffs were going on.
Wow. She's kind of a doozy.
Mental a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was apparent, though. They said that in his documentary when he was still at LSU, in that documentary he had.
Yeah. So my whole thing all along with Simmons is, and look, I like Simmons. I appreciate what he does. I'm frustrated that he doesn't do more, but I have said from day one, there is only one issue here. He has mental health issues. If everybody at the end of the Hawks series said something's mentally wrong with him, the problem is he didn't want to admit that he had mental health issues. So the fact that he says he has mental health issues, people don't want to believe him, but the same people were saying something's mentally wrong with this guy. There's only one answer. Something had to be mentally wrong with him to shoot 30% from the free throw line.
Mike,
right?
Mike, when you don't shoot, when a point guard that's only 6 foot is coming to block your shot and you freeze up like that because you don't want to get fouled, it's got to be something mentally wrong with you, bro.
Right. So I think most people would if he just said 3 days after, look, I'm having some mental health issues. I need to get it worked on. I need to talk. I think 100% of Sixers fans would say, yes, of course you do. We just saw it unfold. But the fact that he didn't say it until later, it makes it look bad. And look, I agree. It makes it look like it's a money grab.
Yeah. Some people use that as a crutch now, because it's a get out of jail free card.
Sure.
So, you know what?
I was to say to you, Harry, something can't be mentally right with him the way he played in that series. Wouldn't you say, yeah, obviously he's got mental problems?
Well, there's mental problems, and then there's just like you're afraid.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's one of the mental problems now is like, oh my God, you just got to go get help. Like,
do we have from his past of him just being flat out afraid? He has played poorly because teams have defended him in certain ways, but he never shot.
Even in that Boston series a couple years ago, when he passed back out. I mean, he's always had this. He doesn't want to fail.
He
doesn't
never
want to
shot 30% from the free throw line, though.
You can lose confidence too, and it's not necessarily a mental health issue. So you know what I'm saying?
Right. There's a difference between
his rookie year or his first year, whatever, the first year they made the playoffs. He shot from the free throw line in that Miami series. I think it was like 75%. I mean, he almost averaged a triple-double in that Miami series. That first year he was in the playoffs, like 2017, 18, something like that. So for him to be where he was in the playoffs, forget the regular season, he had that series against Miami, and to be where he got to last year, something ain't right. So I would be inclined. Look, I just don't know that he ever wants to play here again.
Well, that's true.
We already know that.
Yeah.
We already know. He already said the fans, he can't play in front of these fans.
Well, that's what I said. I said, look, this isn't about anything else other than he knows that he cannot face these people because he knows his game has not evolved at all.
Right.
I can't go back with the same gimmick again.
And that's on him.
100%.
Yeah, that's on him.
100%.
All right, this was great, Mike. We appreciate you jumping on, man. Listen to his show, 97.3. He's great. And he goes to Sixers games you go to every game, don't you?
I haven't. I went to a Memphis game this year as a fan. That was it. I haven't been up much this year, man.
I thought you went to the preseason games too.
I did during the process years a lot.
Oh,
I went to a lot of process years games. I love those process years, man.
Well, hey, Mike, I'm glad that you were able to reaffirm that I was at your house because a lot of people on the stream didn't believe
Barrett Brooks was at my house.
He was there. I was not, and neither was Aton. Okay, let's put that on the record.
Aton has not. Aton called me the other day. Actually,
did he?
Yeah, I got a text. Normally, when I see Aton's name come up on my text, I'm like, oh Christ! Some random babble about something that I have nothing to do with, just trying to egg somebody on to get them to answer. But it was an actual legit question.
It was? Okay, good.
Somewhat, yeah.
Did you answer said question?
I called. We actually spoke on the phone.
Oh, okay, good.
He left. Once you guys left me here, I never heard from him again. I got axed from the wedding list. I got axed from the baby list. Yep. I was out.
You're out. And now you're back in.
I did have a nice pastrami on rye the other day, H. Mays.
That's what everybody on the stream was asking. Like, what's for lunch? What's your sandwich today?
I had lost 65 pounds and gained them all back like a jerk.
What, from IPAs?
Nah, I went to the light IPAs. You know what happened? I was coaching the baseball team and just traveling, living in hotels, late games, eating late. And, you're doing the keto. And then all of a sudden, one day turns into the next day and then the next day. And then it just crashes. And then you're like,
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the voice still sounds good. That's what's important.
You got them pipes, bro. You got them pipes.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to see you guys and your tremendous audience out there.
Good to have you, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Appreciate you, bro.
Have a great holiday season. There he is, the great Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN. All right, Barrett. I think we've about exhausted the day. What do you got on tap for the rest of the day? You working on a car or what do you – oh, no, you're going to Restaurant Depot, right, to get your wings.
Got to go get the wings, man. I'm going to Restaurant Depot, man, but I got to I actually have to take in my suit, man. So I got to, I got to take in my suit. So I got to go
to the
get
tailor.
That measured out. Yeah. I need a suit for this weekend. So I need it by tomorrow. So I'm going to go out there and let them do it real fast.
All right. And what game do you got again this weekend?
Colorado School of Mines.
Oh, that's right. Valdosta State.
At Valdosta State.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk at you tomorrow. Stay tuned for Big Sills, Birds 365, everything here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow.